Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. It's 9:45 here in London and I'm TK. This is Coach on the Rocks. Lovely to see you on this wonderful August Monday morning. If it's Monday morning for you, but if you're watching that later on, hopefully it's the August. Now that actually touches something I wanted to talk about today. Mid-August is a time when many people are on vacation. And what happens is business is a bit slower for many people, and it's a good thing that people have the time to take some time away, to recuperate, rejuvenate, be with their family, friends, loved ones, and go somewhere nice, or just have a staycation, or do whatever they want to do for their personal time off, as Americans call it. PTO is defined as well. It's probably a military culture. It's always interesting how much of the military culture comes to the mainstream in the US. But then again, it's important stuff in the modern world, sadly or not. But I digress. Vacation, right? So there's a interesting company, Qualtrics, and they published a report with what they've seen, and it would seem that 49% of Americans that are working, when they're on vacation, they're spending at least 1 hour a day on work-related activities while they're on vacation. And you know what? I can definitely relate to this statistic. I'm not someone that casts the first stone, and you can put a comment in the chat to let me know if you find yourself as a member of this 49%, even if you're not American or live or work in America. What I will say though is it's a bit of a challenge for various reasons. First of all, I mean, you might think that as a leader or an HR person in the organization, it's great because people are somewhat available, even when they're on vacation, right? Because they're so loyal. It's such a wonderful thing that they're being so productive. But on the other hand, then they come in and they're not fully rejuvenated, that they haven't benefited from this wonderful vacation time. Because possibly, even though they were just checking up on email, or looking at communicators, looking at workflow, whatever your company uses as the system to look at things, they're looking at it and then thinking about it, and work is still present with them throughout their vacation. And it's a bit of a challenge because obviously it puts some pressure onto people in the moment that they should be able to relax. Now, can't decree them doing that. Although it's very interesting because I think I'm working in banks, and they have something called core vacation or core time off, which is you need to be fully separated from the bank system for 2 weeks. And the excuse they give is they can do some background checks on you during that time. But obviously, it has an added benefit of you not being able to, access any of it, which I think is a absolute blessing. I've never been a PEMI at a bank, so never been a part of it. But, I've worked in financial institutions, I've worked in various places, and I've always been aware of this problem, either by myself or the people that were looking up to me for leadership. Now, it is quite interesting. So I can talk about my story and some of my wonderful teammates. Personally, I did my best to do something with this problem. You don't always have a chance to be on a very active holiday. Maybe you'd like to, lay by the pool and read a book, which is a way to recuperate for many people, including myself, to be honest. Sometimes I just need that. In this case, you might be tempted because Wi-Fi is now by the pool to use some of your devices. So a couple of years ago, what I did is I deleted all the work communication, email, everything, disabled, deleted it completely, and it worked. for the time I was away, I was able not to touch it. I don't know if I cheated because when I was jetting back to the UK, I was actually on the airport installing these apps and reading the emails. I thought, okay, maybe I can do it now. But there was this tension still. Sadly, since I've started my own business, I seem to have lapsed and I'm no longer doing that. And I'm probably a member of the 49%, but outside of the US. Interestingly, the reason I do that is, I guess, out of habit. You do worry about things and you want to see what's going on. You have this FOMO in an interesting way. So you think, oh, just trading, a couple of minutes, if I can click on it, it's fine. But I don't think it is. And, this strategy really helps, going cold turkey. Another strategy that some of my teammates use is being able to go on a very active vacation. They just don't have the time to do it. And you even might not have the reception. I have one wonderful person in my wonderful organization, Humble Associates, that has this wonderful ability to switch off. I just like so envious. So envious. You know who you are. Always asking how you do that, and they can't explain. I just like, they're just good used to it. I think what I will say is this. Maybe, you can't afford, or there's no culture of spending personal time or having this core away time 2 weeks outside of the organization. But I think you can implement a culture. You can implement a culture that to say that, this is probably not something you will benefit from. Help by educating, help by setting the example that this is something that really isn't helping you. It's for your own benefit to have these days. And finally, I think what can really also help is not only setting the culture, not only setting the right example, but being able to actually prove that this is something that isn't helpful for people. Having, cases, telling stories, because I think this is the most important thing that people react to. The stories of how this wasn't great. And finally, I think, maybe helping people understand that if they feel like being away for any reasonable amount of time is a difficulty for them, maybe as a leader, you want to ask yourself, how's your team doing? Do you really trust your team? Do you delegate enough? Which is, I think, quite crucial. And I don't, want to ask people to use this as something to, be a stick to evaluate people negatively for. But if you really delegate well, if you build your team to be great, they will manage without you, especially for just the time off. And I think it's a great exercise for you in self-reflection as a leader, a self-reflection on trust, on how well you delegate, on how well you develop your team. Because for God's sake, if your team can't spend a few days without you, being productive, handling everything that happens, it doesn't reflect good on you. You haven't done a good job. It's nothing to do about them. It's everything to do about you, how you help your team grow, how you help them develop to be productive, how you handle delegation. Important stuff. Do remember that. Maybe it's a reflection for me too, how I built my business, and how maybe I've fallen back off the train of building my team really well to be able to really trust them. We all grow. And even if we grow, we find new challenges to grow if we want it. I do. Many of my viewers wanted to. With that, all the best for your Monday, for your growth on Monday. If you're on vacation, you might be watching that, you might be not watching that. I don't know if you consider that work or not. But hopefully, maybe, it's a bit fun. I'll see you back tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. Okay, I need to do something with this button, to be honest. Wonderful viewers. Okay, there it is. Cheers. Oh, does it work? Okay, that's interesting. I'll do it manually then. Bye-bye. And now I need to find my cursor. Here it is.